All right, everybody. We're gonna do a little bit of a mashup pack here today. All right, I've got, the big God finna laugh at me. All right, because I've got some plans. So let's see how accurately I can orchestrate this symphony here of various stuffs that I want to do. This goes out to anybody who wants to live an unconventional life. This is to you. This is for you. And just as much as this is for you, this is equally for me. Dude, I used to think it was all so simple. I used to think that it was just about doing the work. I thought that if I just did more work, that I would win or something like that. That was what winning would look like. I thought that the gap between the life that I was living and the life that I wanted to live was just work. And so if I just sat and if I just was able to subtract and really just hone in and focus on the sort of quality ingredients of my life, if I focus on the quality and the effective effort and just focus on getting, in the 99th percentile of all the things that are most important in my life, then I would just win, right? I thought that this is what it would be. And so it became, oh my God, the further you get into it, the more you realize there is. It's crazy. I love it. 1, 2, it's like, but when you start something, you don't know what you don't know until you encounter. And so, on the journey, man, you think it's one way. At the start, you think it's one way, and then you get through, and it's like, oh yeah, holy shit. You encounter, on your journey, you will encounter your own very unique shadows, right? The things that you keep under the bed and away, the various things that you have stored, the kinds of things that you don't even really understand are holding you in a loving way or in a way that's sort of restrictive, and you're kind of it's as if you parachuted down and the paracord ropes are tangled in the trees, and you're kind of suspended there. It's sort of saved you from falling and hitting the ground and dying in that way, but it's there, and it's now holding you, and you have to cut that paracord. And it becomes one of these things, especially if you're like a person like me. You think to yourself, well, the paracord's a resource. I might need that rope. Let me see if I can cut, the rope in such a way where I can take more rope with me. So I'll eventually have this. Maybe I can use it for a hammock, or I don't know. Maybe tie. You just don't. And that's the thing. You want to just grab as many resources as possible, and you're not even sure exactly what the hell you're even grabbing it for, but that you might need it. Right? You just start grabbing things just in case. You just grab it just because you don't know, right? You think that you might be able to utilize it somehow. So you start grabbing shit. You don't even have a very vivid reason as to why. You're like, it could come in handy. It might be able to. Very doomer. Very, very, whatever. So that's one thing that you'll encounter on the journey. Next thing is here's why it sucks. Okay, here is why it sucks. First of all, it doesn't always suck. But here's the sort of initial stank of it. It's It's a mirage. It's illusory. Because what'll happen is initially things are very clear cut as to what the work is that you need to be doing. If you ever sort of inquire, if you ever sort of look within your own inner dimension and maybe ask and ponder, hey, you're on your knees just at the edge of your bed, or you're sitting at your desk in the dim lighting, or wherever you sort of go to connect with, the plug, the power source of the universe, or whatever, wherever you can just, sort of veg out and do some weird shit, so unzip yourself and be as you are, because you don't care, because you don't judge yourself to the extent that you feel as though others would. And so a place where you feel more or less comfortable to just be, to allow strange experiences to happen. You don't care necessarily. You don't judge it very harshly, very much, and so you're just there, ready for whimsy. You're there for bizarre experiences. You're there for the ride. Okay, you're there to encounter the mysterious, iridescent unknown. Right? You're there for something. I don't know. Okay, so wherever that place is where you feel comfortable for weirdness to develop, initially things are very clear cut. The things that you should take out of your life, the things that you should do less of in your life. You kind of hear, initially you hear all these, maybe they're not parental voices, maybe they're not as necessarily like guardian sort of voices, or these kinds of things, but you're hearing the voices of, like, Jiminy Cricket. You're hearing the voices of your consciousness that want the best for you, and perhaps they suggest things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do. And so initially you'll hear all of the ways that you're fucking up in your personal life from some kind of voice in your mind. And then maybe you're hearing all the things that you might want to, heed the warnings of and take action on. And then these kinds of things. And so it's very clear. It's very clear to you in this way. And so here's what I thought. I thought, yeah, okay, sure, awesome, great. I had my own battles with temptation. I had my own battles with addiction. I had my own battles with, fucking human nature versus man versus nature. Man versus nature, bro. I'm out here, I'm like, here's what I want in life, and then here's what life wants from me. And I'm like, fuck what life wants from me. I'm out here trying to advocate for myself. I'm out here to try and get what I want, ho. Fuck with me. Come fuck with me. And so, basically, there was a whole big, sort of bad boy, fuck the world kind of era where it's like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna totally just get out there and I'm gonna, make way, part the seas, elbowing in the mosh pit, fucking blam, kicking, Spartan kick, fireman kick the door down. Who's there? Who knows? Who cares? Leeway, elbowing, bam, boom, boom, knees, elbows. Get out of my way. Just there with my machete, just slicing, dicing, wheeling, dealing. And, I'm cutting down, I'm there, I'm not very discerning. I'm cutting down things that are good. I'm cutting things that are bad. I'm just cutting. I'm going. I'm like, fuck, anywhere but here, okay? Anywhere but here, fuck it. Just this kind of way. And I don't fault myself. I'll forgive myself for cutting things that, in my haste. What, I'm going to let that hold me back forever? You don't know what you don't know until eventually you develop some more keen abilities to perceive, and your sense perceptions are working as they should because you have subtracted the shit in your life that shouldn't be there. So to the extent that you are unclouded by your own sort of selfish betrayal systems, I want this thing, I want this thing, I want this thing, I want this thing. And you never really inquire, like, why do I want this thing? What the fuck is this sort of, like, pull? Like, why the hell is this? This thing's like essentially kind of like a bully. It's grabbing you by your shirt, by the chest part of your shirt. It's twisting, and it's like, hey, come here. We're going to do this. You're on board, right? And you're like, I think so. I guess so. I don't know. Maybe. You know what? Whatever. It's all grist for the mill, okay? It's all grist for the mill. So, this is how it happened in my life, okay? I listened to one thing 12 years ago, and it meant something to me then, and then I listened to it 9 years after that, and it meant something else, okay? It was evergreen, okay? It was timeless in nature. You know, these are templates. These are translucent pieces of information that you just, you slide it over the background of your life, and that's just, it lines up with what it'll line up with, okay? It's variables, it's math problems, it's, whatever sort of issues or whatever the hell I'm talking about in this instant of things, that is what is the substance of my life. You're going to hear that and interpret it through your very particular lens of things. And that's just how it'll be. Perhaps. That's how I imagine it to be. Next. Moving on. All right, what am I moving on to? I'm moving on to the part that I initially hated. I hated it. Okay, so I wanted to change my life. I wanted to develop more focus. I wanted to reach escape velocity. I wanted to sharpen my tools. I wanted to enhance myself, my life, people around me's life. I wanted to bring about some crazy fucking utopia. I wanted to retire my mom. I wanted to retire my dad. I wanted to... What did I want to do? I wanted to go to Michael's art store and just buy out all the paint supplies, buy all the paint markers, and just, what's the cost? I don't care. Give me the color. I don't give a F. Give me that. I don't care about the money. Ugh. And so I went through a whole kind of journey on this thing. Initially, it was kind of spiritual and retarded. All right, it was kind of like, I'll be very spiritual, and this is how the people do it. Again, I don't fault myself for this shit. But what I do see it as now is it's more like a light switch that is not just on or off. It's more of like the spectrum, so you can control the sort of dimming of it. It's like a pinhole on a camera, control the aperture of which the image is exposed upon it. And so that retarded spiritualism is like maximum exposure, no cell walls anymore, okay? There's nothing containing what the fuck is inside. There's literally no boundary behind it. It's just all the stuff, no fences, no cell walls, no nothing, okay? It's just boundarylessness, limitlessness. Hey, I think that's cool, and I think that's swell and awesome and swell. I really do, but it ends up being like how socialism sort of works in real life, right? It works amazing in principle, but it takes the realistic perspective of what it is, human nature, out of everything, okay? It totally negates our own sort of selfish desires. I want this thing, or our sort of like our need or our initial pull for, certainty, sustenance, maintenance, and making sure that I have rice to eat later. Okay, if I have rice to eat tomorrow, I'm okay. I don't even have to eat the rice right now, but if I have rice for tomorrow, I know that I have rice whenever I need it or whenever I want it, and that's important to me. And so fuck that guy. He doesn't need rice right now. I need rice tomorrow. I'm looking after me, my mouth. This kind of thing. And this is like this is part of what it is to be a human, to the extent that you can like sort of battle your own impulses and hey, and sort of be a parental figure in your own kind of life and be like, hey, okay, all right, then whatever. But the initial sort of spiritual retardism that I encountered was like, yeah, dude, life is about your mind, your mental state, and so basically what's got to happen is, hey, I can't allow myself to believe and fall under the principles and the paranoia of the zeitgeist, okay? I know that being the master of my universe and master of reality means that if I am operating from within my mind, within a scarcity mindset, basically that means that I'm going to live poor forever, okay? I'm going to be dumb, stupid, and retarded for life. And so if I don't allow myself to purchase these various things, then I'm sort of living my life in the fear that, the money won't come back to me. And so I'm holding it back. I'm restricting myself. And because I'm restricting myself, what you give to the universe, you get back. And so I just give to the universe because I'm to get back. And so if I trust that if I give, then I'll get back, then I'm in abundance mindset and I'm winning. Winning, Charlie Sheen, Tiger Blood, come fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? I like that idea a little bit, maybe. But, here's where I am, all right? I'm at the part where I'm like, okay, that's great and all, but now I'm at the part later where I'm no longer fighting myself on whether I should get this thing or that thing or not, or yes, and more to the core of it, less beating around the bush on the deciding if I will or if I won't. But, sort of, I'm like, do I need this, or is this just something old that is like following me through my life? Like the old me just kind of wanted this, and now the inertia of that is just following through in my wake. It's like, yeah, just because I ate Greek yogurt for all those years every day for lunch, like tomorrow, maybe everything will change forever. I don't know. Take Greek yogurt, it could be anything. But oftentimes what I see is that we'll justify the various things in our life that we consume as though they were meant to have some kind of place in the mosaic of our lives. And weirdly enough, when I got rid of all the sort of bigger addictions in my life, I noticed that everything kind of had a very similar aspect at which it would sort of permeate in my life. At first it was like the bad shit. The easily discernible, this is not good for me, gotta stop this kind of shit. And then the reason why I hated it is because it got down to the point where it was like everything took up like RAM in my life. Everything I was getting decision fatigue, dude. My mind was like on hyperdrive. It's like, I know, I first I get rid of nicotine, then I get rid of caffeine, then I'm getting rid of all these like various substances. I'm getting rid of the drug life and living more from like the endogenous chemicals that spawn and have whatever they do in my life. And then it comes down to everything, dude. I'm becoming more and more conscious of my experience. What I noticed is, here's what it is. My life began in a place where I was very, very permeable. I didn't have much of an immune system. Things that would sort of, acquiesce and sort of make their way into my life, I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I was more about the harmony of things. I was more about, let me see how I can work with this. Let me see how I can work with this in my life. My life path was very much of this origin. It's of harmony. It is of it's of cooperation, right? Let me see how I can cooperate with this as opposed to conflict. Cooperation over conflict. And this is very Buddhistic. This is very Taoist. This is very, this is very one with nature. This is very flowy. This is very wata, be wata, my friend. Spiritual, this realm of things. What did I want to say about that? And then, I'll stumble forward a little bit, right? Till I hit a wall. Echolocative, figure out where I'm at by just sending something out and see what hits me back. Here's what it was. My life, and living my life from such origins of being of cooperation, being of harmony, trying to work with the various things that would enter my life, being very permeable to life experiences and so on and so forth. Doing the whole Jim Carrey, yes. I can see how, because very early on in my life, I was a no person. I was very limited in the things that I wanted to do in my life, and because of that, I was just starved for sort of diversity in my experience. And so I didn't have a wide range of various experiences, and so once I hit a coming of age moment, it was full swing on the opposite side of the spectrum, from a no man to a yes man. Every life experience, yes. Let's see what's there to experience. And I didn't have that sort of middle play between yes and no. I didn't really have the sort of processing power. And I don't blame myself for this is what growing up is. This is what experience is. This is how you understand the world. You understand yourself. This is how, anyways, I didn't have that. I didn't have the ability to sort of process anything in real time. I didn't have the courage to sort of lay everything out on the table to make I didn't understand the scope and the timeline of decisions and any of this. I thought things were just as simple as yes and then no and then that's it, And so I was very hasty in how I applied this kind of thing in my life. It was like, fuck it. And I hated being a no man, and well, I guess I love being a yes man. Let's do it. Oh yeah. Go for it. Now, the simplest shit is like, here's where I'm at. I have to find the balance between the simplest things being expedited, being able to make, not everything, not making mountains out of molehills, okay? Not making the smallest of things that in my life, making them the biggest things, but also trying to find the balance between that, like what is the right amount of brain calorie burning for any decision ever, okay? And so here's the thing, right? Here is the walnut that I'm about to smash. I'm about to hit it with a USA smash, son. I'm about to drop in with an elbow on this hoe. I'm gonna hit it with soul-puncturing damage right here. Kiki! Kiki! Right, so as I really put in a lot of the leg, as I put in all of the heavy lifting, I did all the crazy compound movements. I did all the I did all of the basic main shit. All of the compound lifts. All of the meat and potatoes of the thing. I cooked the main courses, okay? Then it came to the side dishes. Then it came to the seasonings. And it fucked me up for a little bit, okay? The sort of transitional phase between, the sort of just a knowing, the knowing. It's great. Every day, okay? So I subtracted a whole bunch of shit from my life that it shouldn't be there, and then I added in, okay, because life is how you spend your time. And so you think to yourself, it's your time. It's what you put your attention to. It's these things. It's what you spend your time doing. What is happening with your body? What is your body doing right now? Where are you at? What are you focused on? What are you building, and what are you a part of? What is a part of you? What are you involved in? And so after I sort of cleared out a whole bunch of shit that I knew in my heart of hearts, and like whether it was like in the back of my mind, just some kind of like, hey, get me the fuck out of here kind of voice, or like, hey, go over there. And it's like you really try and navigate, like, okay, I hear that. What do I actually really think? Oh my God, is that the voice of truth in me? Or is that just another voice of the peanut gallery? Lord help me, please. What the fuck is going on? Something like this, right? Like you just don't know how to discern anymore. And there's the fear of changing lanes. Really, it's really the fear of like changing lanes, because it really is all or nothing to an extent. It's like, well, yeah, one day you're gonna quit your job, okay? One day you're either not going to, or you will, right? You're either going to step forth and start walking the life that you want to, the one that you're afraid to, the one that's calling you, or you're just gonna walk around the cul-de-sac a few more times, sort of talk yourself into it. Yeah, I'm getting ready. Right now what I'm doing is actually I'm building my muscles for the long, arduous endurance path of the unknown. I'm walking and building my muscles around this cul-de-sac of all the things that I know, so that way when I walk, and encounter all of the unknown that's out there in the world, I'll be strong enough to defend myself and to, sort of live my life in these kinds of ways. The part of life that I didn't realize at the time was that the work was not so straightforward as I initially thought it would be, right? I thought that the only thing that was really holding me back between the life that I wanted to live versus the life that I was living was just a whole bunch of fucking work, right? If I just get on here and blast through a whole bunch of voice memo talks, or I just get up every day and fucking eat protein like like a fucking, I don't know, like Chris Bumstead or some shit, Ronnie Coleman, that if I just eat the protein like them and then I lift the weights and I break the muscle fibers down and I focus on the physique and then that I will, and I make the art then, and I put it out, then, I'll be there one day. I will be there one day. But initially I didn't understand that the life path is you ever see that SpongeBob meme? It's not like this. It's not like this. It's like this. Yeah, well, I got to, that was a wake-up call for me, that it wasn't as straightforward as I initially thought it to be. That I can't just put more work in. It's not as mechanical, it's not as applicable as that. That everything requires a guesstimation, a sort of calculation. Everything requires a guesstimation and a calculation, and the thing that is different between all of the various aspect ratios of that thing is the tolerance levels within the relationships that you get into. Some people, they are solid as shit, okay? Their tolerance for anything at all is like nil. It is like, gee, okay, I am straight, I am upright. Yeah. Yes, sir. Goodbye. Have a good day. See you. You fucking walk off and you're like, oh, God, not that again. Lord. And then, maybe you come into someone else that's a little more like, just complete. They're just like jelly, right? They're like, and you're like, yeah, I don't know how much I want to sleep on a waterbed. I thought it was cool initially. This shit's fucking, I hate it. Give me something firmer, please. Like, are you just complete recession? Are you complete acquiesce? What if I do this? If I come at you with something fast and hard, what are you then? Is there anything that you stand up for? Anything that you fight for at all? Or do you pick sides on anything? Where are you going to defend yourself at? Are you going to allow, okay, what are you going to allow in your life, all right? I'm going to be all fucking, I'm going to start poking buttons. I'm going to start, being older. You've seen those older brother memes. I'm going to walk in the room. I'm going to fart. I'm going to fucking, smack. I'm going to knock some shit off your desk, just see what are you then, right? What are you then? I'm curious. I'm just curious. I just want to see, I want to feel you out. I know you have your preferences for staying zen and being calm. Okay. Look, I'm not here to push you into a world that you don't want to get into yet. But I know that behind all of that is anger. I know there's redness. I know there's lava, right? I know there's magma, all right? I'm not saying you're a geyser. I'm not saying you're a volcano and it's just building up pressure until it explodes. I'm not saying that is your life situation. But what I am saying is there is trauma there. Okay? There is something behind that. It is, you might be open to a wide range of experiences. And you might have the kind of Aikido Tai Chi ability to sort of send out white light into your relationships and be this sort of like, hey, to sort of breed about a positivity into the world, But you still have an aversion to, there's still conversations you are not healed from. There are conversations that you just don't touch, right? You might feel it in your mind, but instead of doing anything and manifesting that conversation and letting it capitulate and animate itself into the world through you, you say, hey, I'm not ready yet. I'm just going to let this be an empty space between us, and I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of all of this. I'm afraid of what I might say. I'm afraid of what you might say. I'm afraid of what the devils you know. The devils I know. And it's always about the devils I know versus the devils I don't know, right? If we have this conversation, our whole relationship dynamics change. Our whole life might fucking change. We might not live in the same shelter as before. And I don't know how much I want that life of unknown versus, kind of what we got going on right now. Right now, what we got right now is not the worst of the worst. And so I'm just afraid of it getting I'm afraid of it getting worse. And so I settle for this. I tolerate this. And okay. So you out there, good luck to you. Good luck to you. I'm in your corner. I'm on your side. You can do it. It's only a feeling. You can handle it. You got this shit. Right? Not everything is permanent. I'm sure you know that by now. Not everything is permanent. Our fucking lives are not permanent. We're gone. We already have expiration dates on us, right? Why not have the experience of a lifetime? Why not? Okay, I know why not. I know why not because I constantly am in this place. Well, how much do I open up to blast a soul? How often, how wide do I make my solar tractor beam orbital cannon to blast my sort of whatever it is that I imagine out at you? Because how much do you want to fuck with people's sense of security and reality and their perceptions of the world? How much do you want to really rock the boat of somebody? Because I don't want to walk around the world just constantly flipping over rocks. It's some people just want to live the lives that they live, and they want to go home after their fucking job and they want to watch some TV and just they don't want the fucking life that, dude, they don't want to be constantly, they do not want to be reminded that they're not living up to their potential. They do not want to be, there are some people who do not want to be reminded that they're on a track to a life where they're not all that they could be. And they know it, but they don't want to be reminded of that. And so everything about their life is tailored in sort of ways that are it's like bumpers in a bowling lane, okay? Their whole life is predicated on this thing. And then they think that when they look up at the scoreboard and it is this, it's well, guess what? I mean, you might have been counting all of that and you're looking up at the scoreboard, but I was also paying attention to how many times that bowling ball smashed into the bumpers. And so I know that if those bumpers weren't there, guess what? Less points. And so it's not an accurate representation of what is happening. And I'm no different. I'm in the same boat, okay? I'm in the same boat. All right, what am I getting on to now? I was initially going to Yeah, okay, so this is exactly the point. This is exactly the point that I was mentioning before. It's like, okay, so if all of what I just said in that last little epoch right there of blasting, anyways, so I started blasting. So if all of that was scientifically defined as work, then it's like, yeah, there comes a point in time where things change, right? I've already said everything that I could say about what I said, and now it's like, what now, right? There's always the what now, where the work becomes less clear than it was before. My take on things now is that I just want to be less neurotic about things, to the extent that I can. I recognize, and I wanted to develop like a circular nature to things. I wanted no gaps at all. I just wanted things to be like a piston. Right, I just wanted things to be circular in the motion, where it was just in a constant motion. I just wanted smoothness to everything, smoothness. And to you out there who is still, about the smooth life, look, there is a deceptive nature to that. There's insecurity. You feel uncomfortable with silence, or with spaciousness, with the concept of emptiness, with things just not being out there in the open. And so, you kind of you manipulate the world. You manipulate yourself. You manipulate your body and how you move, and things become more of a performance as opposed to the energy moving you. You start to get involved in it. Why do you get involved with it? It's ego. You want people to perceive you as good, as better, as you want people to perceive you like, oh my God, what a great person. Oh my God, how awesome. And I don't particularly know if there's any soul out there on planet Earth that doesn't want that to some extent. And so, am I asking for the impossible? Or am I simply pointing out something that is paradoxical? And it's like, we can't change this shit. It's like what the fuck is the smallest unit measure? What is the smallest measurable unit on that we could perceive? Like, I'm over here. I'm over here cutting up dust. Zooming in on dust. Okay, so I find this shit to be interesting, okay? Here's what I thought. In front of me, I have one of my older journals. And next to that, I also have the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is like an ancient Peace. It's an ancient text from someone who is an enlightened being or something like that. Someone who lives their life in the eternal present, in the light of truth, and they're just fucking, I don't know, just kind of like, dispersing light as if they were the sun, because that's just what they do. And then here's an older journal that is, it's one of my sacred journals, you can call it. And the reason it's sacred is just because it's this brown leather embellished journal that I would only try and write the best shit in it. So I think it would be kind of interesting to see what's in there. I want to frame this and say, part of me is afraid, and then a part of me is like, who gives a shit? We're gonna die. What the fuck do I care anyways? And so let's take a look, shall we? I think it could be interesting, at the very least. So let's see where there is a bookmark here. So let's just fucking flip to that, right? Fucking God. Okay. Before I actually read any of this, let's how about I peel back what the hell is inside of my brain. Okay, do I read, the book is open completely. Do I read from the top left and just onward? Do I read this whole piece of text? Do I just pick up little tidbits that are highlighted by my awareness, or do I force whatever the hell is happening here? Am I too insecure to even read these things that I've written at one point in time? Do I feel attached to the author of these words as if they were me now? Or can I just read this as if this was just a person out there? I feel like I'm sufficiently attached from this text being anything of me. I'm just going to turn the page. Fuck it. I don't know why they're so happy. I hate it. I can't believe I thought they were cool. Total loser. I fucking hate them. I don't want them to die, but my life would be better without them. I never want to see them again. Why can't they just give me what I want? So gross. I feel like crying. I thought this was the one. Fuck them. I'm done with this shit. Dawson, what do you think? I'm sad. They got scared. And I'm hurt that they tried getting my feelings hurt. I noticed they were worried, and I knew the pain they have was terminal. I'm upset at our current state. They pretend not to know what they're thinking because they're scared of letting the apparent secret out. I'm disappointed they hide the truth. I know you're sad, God. I know you want to cry. I thank you for guiding me. I know you really love me. My advice to you is to keep moving. My gift to you is this sadness. May this day be remembered as the day desirelessness ruined the world. I'm happy you chose the eternal. May your refinement be sharper from this day forward. Peace is not a thing that is shareable. It frightens all within the world. May you remember the pain of peace. May you remember the suffering involved. And may you remember the suffering involving desire. The pain of indifference. Damn, son, what the hell is this goddamn book? Who wrote this shit? This was you? Damn. Okay, here's another one. Super pissed off. I'm mad horny. I love to fuck them. Savagely. See you soon. They're real soft. Peace. So he jerked off right next to me? Ugh, disgusting. What the fuck is wrong with him? Again, never want to hang out with them. We're probably better off just never speaking again. I'm done with them. I'm moving on. I can't believe they left me. Just so pissed off. Fucking die, you nasty, creepy fucking tool. I hate you. It's unbelievable I even loved you. Okay, bye. Also, fuck you. It's amazing. It's so amazing. It's like, what? Who wrote this? Obviously, this was... I wrote this, but... Wow. What interesting fucking perspective. Yeah, right here I wrote coolest dream ever. Another life in another world. Fucking epic. God! This might be the coolest book ever. Lord have mercy. Wow, this is awesome. Alright, I'm thinking, what should I do? Fuck it, I'll start here. Here's the plan, the blueprint for greatness and eternal glory. Boom. Work out. All day, every day. Social media is a wonderful thing. Between sets, there's plenty of time to train. Inertia is powerful. Be slow. Take breaks. But don't leave too much on the table. Head to the beach and start writing. Bring the gear. That was probably weed. Or maybe writing tools. I'm not sure where the hell I was at in this life. If your place got that stuff, life is good. Not a bunch of bluff. Nothing needed. This is enough. What's the rush? Literally nothing is going on. I'm just here, in bed, writing. This is actually really nice. I sit, I reminisce about the times I would spend with different friends. The plan to work out fell through. I don't really work out much anymore. I guess it was another attempt at staving off boredom. Even working out got relatively boring. Not gonna lie. I feel like making a workout plan. An actual 7-day track. I bet that breaking it up into a scheduled thing will make it all less overwhelming. Now, lucky as I am, I get to sit with myself. Finally, responsible for my life. Crazy, I just seek comfort. Sponsored message from my vape. And not to mention those shots, by the way. If I had parting words, I'd mention how good the music is. That's all. It's got me dancing. It's a rare occurrence nowadays. Not to mention writing. Might as well an ink and quill. How efficient I am. I'm as thorough as a kid doing push-ups. Oh God, towards the end of that page, I was really forcing that out. Yeah, I think I'm done with this book for now. Okay. So I think I'm gonna dip out. I think I'm gonna dip out now and maybe draw some pictures. I'm at a point in my life where I am more patient with myself. I think to myself, do I really want to go right here? Or here's what I think, right? I think to myself, like, am I leaving something on the table here? Am I leaving because it feels like there's nothing left here? Or is that actually the sort of curtain? Is that actually the thing? Right? It looks like there's nothing, but I'm so close to it that it's like, am I turning away from it? I had this sort of epiphany last night, especially when I was out for a walk. I was doing a little walksky-talksky, and, out of nowhere, this sort of like primal, sort of like hunter-esque kind of dad fucking hammering myself out into the world kind of thing came out. A little behavioral tick, where they were these quacking geese, and I was making a talk, and I was like, "Shut up, boy." And so I gave him a little feint, I gave him a little jab or whatever. Not that I went to punch the duck, but I gave him like, I'm gonna run at you. We're gonna play a game of chicken. Maybe you'll like dash into the lake or something like that and stop quacking at me. And I thought to myself, I was like, why couldn't I just not let him quack, you know? Why couldn't I just not let him quack, you know? Why did I have to walk in the direction of that duck, of that goose, right? Why is it that I need to walk down this path and I can't just let them be their thing or whatever? Like, I'm this thing. And the moment that I kind of pulled out that triple threat, dude, the universe was like, oh, I'm not letting you by. I'm not letting you by. There was a dude sitting down by the lake in like a lawn chair or something like that, looking at his phone. And just that dude existing there in that moment of things reminded me, it's like, yeah, you're never alone. You're always witnessed, my boy. You're always witnessed. I'm not going to let you think that you can get away with something like that. And so the shame and embarrassment ensued. It's like, oh, dude, my own preferences for, you know, my selfishness to, I want to have the audio, you know, I want the atmosphere to be in the space where my audio is getting out. You know, get the fuck out of my audio. Adios. Goose. Egyptian goose. You're an invasive species anyways in Florida. However beautiful you are. And I'm not even mad about that. Those things are beautiful. Love them. But, they are territorial, though. I'll tell you that much. Anyways. And so as I was walking away from that situation, I was like, I'm at a different point in my life, like where I really do question everything that I'm doing. Where everything that I'm doing, it takes on a different kind of meaning. Where I have the time, I have the energy to really comb through decision by decision and change my life brick by brick. Truly. Because now I'm no longer just sort of like stirring all the flies in the ointment anymore, okay? I'm no longer just going along to get along. I'm no longer just going along for the sake of smoothness. I no longer just go along to just keep things appearing like they're okay, right? If there's something a little wackadoo that I'll pick up on and I'm not exactly sure, I don't give a fuck anymore about stopping to like really assess what the hell something is made of. Because it is made of me. It is made of my decisions. It's made of my choices. It's made of default settings that have been set far long ago, and that, you know, estate sale, fire sale, everything must go. Everything must go, okay? Crunching everything down to a point where it's, look it, all right? Yeah. And so in that moment of things, I felt the shame, I felt the embarrassment, I felt the, why? Felt the selfishness, felt the sort of like stupid, strong but wrong. It's like alpha nature. Like, I'm pretty dumb, okay? I'm pretty dumb to the point where it's like, I can't let a goose quack. I'm really that emasculated. I can't, you know, I need things my way. That, I'm that quick to bark back, or I'm that quick to sort of, you know, advocate for my particular preference for the world to be as such in that way, in a way where it elicits a fear response. That's the huge thing. It was like, it's different during some other situation, but if I'm doing something in an aggressive way, a hostile way, to elicit a fear response in another being out there, I just don't know how well that sits with me. I think it's very, very low. I hate to say, like, I hate to be a part of this part of culture. It's like, it's very low conscious behavior. But I do think that. I'm like, dude, there is some higher order thinking that this space could be filled with instead. As opposed to sort of, you know, elbowing my way through the mosh pit. Make way, hear ye. So yeah, this is anybody who's out there, how do you spend your time? What do you do all day? It's like, you wouldn't believe the kinds of things that happen throughout the day that can really just go unnoticed, right? There will be a lot of non-events in your life. There's a lot of moments where you can just sort of autonomously be moving about. For example, you might eat at the same times every day. And you might not even be hungry, but you'll eat. People hate this shit. People are like, are you kidding me? You're going to take me and my dopamine and the food away from me? Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't need to eat only when I'm hungry. Fuck you. Dude, I don't even eat only when I'm hungry. Are you kidding? I'm just saying, I'm constantly on, dude, I'm growing right now, okay? I'm still in the filtration process of my life, okay? And so my next little tidbit of things is like breaking down my life into just the most. I'm excited, okay? I'm just excited. I'm excited about life, dude. Sleeping when I'm tired, working when there's the work that is to be done, and living my life on, the terms of my particular, what my fullest potential is to be. And so, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm all about dying, making it to heaven. And when they pull up the fucking scorecard where they're like, damn, dude, you hit the high score. Dude, you did 100% completion. You got all the trophies. You got the gold. You got the platinum. You got the diamond trophy from getting all the trophies. You got all of the achievements. So that means you get the extra achievement. Good job. Congratulations. You're dead now. That's it. Nothing else. So I recognize a little bit of that it's about the journey and not the destination. It's like, I can't even fully imagine the kind of life that you get to live if you become the kind of person who can encounter any situation. Now, this is what I want for my life. I want to be, I don't want to be the jack of all trades. I want to be the universal remote, god damn it. All right? I want to be the universal remote. Probably not, actually. Probably not. Look, I don't give a fuck about being the universal remote. Really? I just want to have keener discerning ability. I just want to have the sharpest discernment tools possible. Right? I want to be able to constantly assess what is going on in my life and to be able to compartmentalize what is essential, what is non-negotiable, what is extra, what shouldn't be there, what we need more of, and just having the ability to process all of these things and aspects of my life to the nth degree, to my specific preferences and specifications, because my life is like a bejeweled piece of artistry or something of that nature. It's like a sculpture in a way. And so I'm here, I'm like, I want to make the greatest possible thing possible as I'm alive, and that is dealing with positive and negative space. That is building more here. It's aspects, it's ratios, it's asymmetry, it's symmetry, it's the principles of balance, it is rule of thirds, it's beauty. It is provocative. It's art. And so my life is is the animating force of hammering away and adding various things to my life. And the continuous process of, of this life. And so it is constantly changing. I'm constantly running into things that stay the same, and I'm constantly looking for little warp holes and little wormholes and little, like those trap doors in the ceiling where there's like an attic you never knew was there, or a little hole in the wall where the Coraline family with the button eyes, and just like random Easter eggs and hidden maps of my life. I'm constantly looking for little secret seams, little, platinum 9 3/4 doors of my life. And that, I find these things when I turn on the Gyo of my life, when I've got the Byakugan activated, and, things in my life just start revealing themselves to me. Spelunker Potion is activated for a little bit. I can mine and go find various valuable tidbits of experience. So, all of that being said, I am going to do some other things. I can make a talk that's 9 hours long. I don't feel as though I want to make a talk that is 9 hours long, and so I'm not going to force myself to just do something arbitrarily just because I want to know if I can do it. I want to have a good relationship with myself, and not a tyrannical one. Not one where I'm constantly having to prove my own worth to myself, where I'm constantly trying to prove things to myself. Sure, there are some things where I needed to prove things to myself, because I didn't have any role models to even to know if it was possible in my life or not. I didn't, not ones that were in my life. Okay, they were digitized. Okay, there were people out there who I knew were living more like how I wanted to live, but they were not. But I didn't know them. Right? I just knew it was vaguely possible. But all the people in my life, we're just we were in the same boat of shit, and I didn't know. I didn't know what the hell was really important in my life. All I knew was that there was a bridge, and that anybody who was in my life that I can actually see or interact with was not actualizing themselves in the way that I wanted to. And so I had to become a dandelion seed, bro. I had to flake off and go with the wind, bro. I had to go with the goddamn wind, and I couldn't just stick to the dandelion hub. And to you out there, this is about faith, okay? I say to you, you can do it! You can do it! I say to you that. All the while, I'm in a position where I don't even know myself, right? I just fucking believe that we can. Yes, we can! Well, who told you? I told myself. I told myself I could. I told myself I could, and I'm just out here, I'm saying, hey, you can too. Because, we're always looking for permission. We're always kind of looking for consent on things where it's like, can I? Should I? Hey, you know what? I wouldn't yell at you. I'm not. Hey, dude, cops and robbers. I'm on your squad. What are we, cops right now? Or robbers? What are we? What are we? Huh? Am I, whatever. So, all right, I want to get out of here, dude. All right. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this was nutritionally dense for you. I hope this was the protein and the calories you needed to. I hope this was the soul food, that the sustenance for your goddamn day. That I hope this was the shot of coffee in the morning. I hope this was the shot of alcohol to inebriate you and take away your inhibitions and allow you to be courageous enough to take firm steps into the unknown of the world with a kind of "we can do it, si se puede" kind of energy behind that. And so, you know, Andre 3000, hey ya, he says, hey ya, do 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 do. He says, you know what to do. You know what to do. So you know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, I suggest you cool it. Okay. One of the biggest pitfalls in my life was that I was so adamant about making it and going and doing. Again, it's all about the work. It's all about the hard work. I can work 19 hours a fucking day, especially if I'm working towards my dreams. But sometimes the answer is, chill, recalibrate, reassess, redirect. It's about zooming in and getting in the pocket and then judging distances and falling back a little bit. And always, it's this dance between, it's oscillating between close and far. And, you can stay in that pocket and, be in the clinch or whatever. But dude, what is it about? Is it about winning the fight? Is it about enjoying the fight? Is it about seeing the nature of the dance of the fight? Is it, right? So sometimes I'll be very, very, very honed in on my perspective of what the world should be, and I'll be very firm in my sort of like belief system of it, and my initial backing, all the sort of drive and calories I'll put into building the momentum in one aspect of life. And then life is like, oh yeah, you thought it was about winning? How about this one? Have you ever seen the way that Have you ever seen into the nature of cause and effect? Nature of cause and effect? Oh my God. Why are you going to open up a concept such as cause and effect when I'm trying to get the hell out of here, bro? Oh my God. I can go on forever. And so right now, I'm going to be selfish in this moment. I'm going to cut this talk off short. I'm going to go take a piss, and then I'm going to basically just do other things. I don't know if I'm going to I don't know, okay? I don't know if I'm going to work out. I don't know if I'm going to veg out. I don't know if I'm going to make some art on Procreate. I don't know if I'm going to go up, and after I take my piss, I'm going to go sit down at my desk and draw, sort of analog with markers and whatnot. I don't know if I'm going to go on my online store and try and sell some merchandise. I don't know if I'm going to eat some food right now. This is it, okay? This is where my head's at. I don't need to blast off and be aggravated or annoyed or even just whatever that kind of like high-powered, chaotic kind of like just like done with it energy. I don't always have to do that, but So, everybody, thank you so much for bearing with me and my ways. Everybody, thank you so much for everything. I hope this was everything and more for you. I hope that... What do I hope? I hope that this shines a light in your life that gives you courage. That I can be so effing weird in comparison to whatever it is goings on in your life, that it gives you a sort of, well, I guess I'm not that far fucking deranged, so, well, I'm okay with that. And so the further out that I can go and explore, and the further out that I can set the boundaries of everything, all the best to everybody in the world. Because if we lead the pack in this kind of way, that just broadens the meadow for all of us to be able to graze. And I think that that's good. And so hopefully this sort of illuminates and knocks down, opens doors for whoever in their life. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. And all praise due to Allah. Left, right, come together. Wu-Tang is forever. Do-do-do-do-do.